Hello, beloved. It's me, Robin Hallett, intuitive healer and light sparkler at robinhallett.com. And this is Tea with Robin. On today's episode, wow, what a week it's been. We're talking about kindness, love, and helping ourselves during these times and being of service to others as well. Our inspiration, ways to make this situation brighter for you and those around you. And our letter is from a friend who's wondering how to practice in these times, how to keep her spiritual perspective and not invite the fear in. All this and more. Come grab a cup of yum yum and meet me here. Hi, guess who it is? This is the pre-podcast announcement. Before I begin with today's episode, friends, I'm editing this now on Sunday before this airs. You know, so much has shifted in the world this week since I recorded this episode. Coming up, I'm talking about kindness is a superpower, and I think a lot of us are afraid that we're going to get run over if we're kind. A really important topic, but it is not necessarily coronavirus centered, because I started recording last Monday and so many things have shifted. So I hope you'll have a listen and just keep that in mind. The inspiration and the letter this week definitely are on this topic. And for more information, I am every day, every other day, sharing something related to how are we getting through this time. So just wanted to tell you that. And also, I wanted to let you know there is a healing circle happening with me online March 26th, 2 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. And this is now a free event. Free. So come, you still need to sign up. Come check that out, please. I love to be with you. More information on that can be found on my website, robinhallett.com/courses. And now, on with the show. Well, hello, beautiful friend. It is me, Robin, your heart-sparkling pal on this amazing, magnificent journey. Welcome back to the podcast, Tea with Robin, episode 80. Episode 80. And if it's your first time here, hello, this is me, Robin, and thanks. Please give a big hello and hug to whoever told you about this show. Thank you for being here. So, my friend, how are you today? How is the weather in your heart? Ooh, are you being loving and sweet? Are you remembering how gorgeous you are on the inside, on the outside, how precious your life is? All the opportunities to choose again and again and again in every moment. How you're doing, what you want, how it's going to be for you. I hope so. I am right along with you on that practice, too. Over here, it is a beautiful day. It is a gray day. The sky is very thick with that cloud cover. A friend of mine called those cozy comforter days. It's like the sky has been tucked in with a beautiful duvet. And it's beautiful out there. I'm listening to robins. Oh, boy. I can get so excited when the robins are back, and they are back trilling along their beautiful song. Doing very well today. Just back from the dentist. Had a little oral surgery a few weeks back, and just checking on everything, making sure I'm coming along nicely. All is well. And yeah, so good. Always happy to be here with you. Big question of the morning is, did ya bring a cup of yum yum? I did. It's very boring today. I hope you're prepared. I have a cup of black coffee with a little sea salt, and that's it. It could use some hot water. It's a little strong, but I'm just going with it. So whatever you have over there, I hope you have something yummy. If it's a smoothie or a tea or just a glass of water, let's raise our glass together. Let's cheers each other and remember, this is now and it's always new and we're always choosing and all possibility exists now and only now. So here's to us and cheers. Oh, yes. I would like to say a special shout out to a friend, Mary MP, MMP. Thank you. Thanks for this journey. Thanks for your sparkle enthusiasm, for the joy you bring, for your own dedication. Cheers. Yes, so good. So today, I want to talk about kindness. Kindness with a backbone. And kindness also not being a permission slip. Do you know what I'm talking about? Let's talk about kindness. This morning I went to the dentist and I was reflecting again on just, it's not hard to be nice. It doesn't cost you anything. It's very healing experience for you yourself to be nice. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not hard to be nice. And sometimes to be kind, to be warm, to be friendly. Sometimes I notice that lack of kindness, of niceness, of warmth in others. Sometimes I notice it in myself. And so today I just want to talk a little bit about this thing. I went to the dentist and they are very friendly there, very kind, very friendly. I definitely feel remembered and seen. And here's the trippy trip about that. They often tell me that I do that for them. So it's like this interesting thing of which came first, right? The kind Robin or the kind dentist, the sweet dentist. What I know for sure is we remember each other. And when I walk into there is that experience of the room lighting up. Doesn't really matter who got it started. Doesn't even really matter why we are doing it. What matters is the warmth increased, the light increased, and the love increased. And you know what else that means? Inside of me, inside of you, there's this moment of awakening, of deepening in, of grounding down. And that means deeper contact to yourself. So if you ever find yourself somewhere and you're in a hurry and you're in a bit of a rush and somebody is being nice to you and you find yourself being annoyed, I'm thinking about Trader Joe's. Did you find everything you needed today? Did you find everything you were looking for today? Or sometimes when we had dogs, the boxes of dog treat would come down the conveyor belt and they'd say, "What kind of dog do you have?" And it's so interesting because it was like my own little study. I would notice I could get crispy. I could feel a little birchy in that moment. But when I chose to join with delight and just be in my heart and share and just kibitz for a moment, I always felt better. And I always felt better for a lot longer than that interaction. How do you explain that? It's a very interesting thing. So today I'm advocating a practice of kindness. Kindness. After the dentist, I got in the car and I recorded a short little video for, what do you call it? IGTV. It's over there if you're on Instagram. You can see it on my, whatever. The less I say, the more smart I sound because I'm still figuring all this stuff out myself. But it's over there. You can find it. And I talked about the power of kindness. And I also was talking about it from this perspective of, you and I, we work for a living, we earn money, right? And a lot of us are self-employed. A lot of us that I hang with, the friends I support in healing sessions, students I teach occasionally, the people I am most connected with, a lot of us are working for ourselves. And kindness is one of those things. Service could be another word. It's one of those things that we absolutely must practice as a superpower. And if it comes naturally to you, I feel it's just a natural setting for me. If it comes naturally to you, awesome. If it doesn't come naturally to you, it's so good to take this on as a practice. I think we are all wanting to offer beautiful work in the world, offer beautiful service in the world. And like Louise Hay used to say, I offer excellent service for excellent pay with wonderful people in a wonderful way. She had lots of ways to say that. But it helps when you are kind, when you are generous, when you are loving, when you are warm, when you are enthusiastic, open. And it helps people remember you. You stand out. Of course, you stand out. It's amazing to me sometimes how just the smallest, quickest post I'll do, something about kindness, offer an opportunity to send light to you or say a prayer with you or do a grounding exercise with you, how much you will say, thank you, I needed that today. It is powerful. It's powerful. So it doesn't cost you anything to be kind and to offer kindness. It costs you nothing. But why don't we do it more often? In fact, why do I get cranky if the Trader Joe's guy is super sweet to me? Have you thought of this already? I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't want to be manipulated. I don't want to be caught unawares. Unaware or unawares? I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't want to open myself to the point that then you're going to pounce with your favor request that's going to be impossible to say no to. Each of us has these fears and concerns about, if I am warm, if I am open, if I am kind, you will take advantage of me. If this is even resonating for you today, I'd say sit with that and see how it is for you, because all I can do is talk about my experience, and that's me. And even though we're connected and we're really just one being here, we're all one. The way it expresses, that energy and light expresses in me is different because we're all unique. So sit with how this is for you. It's such an important topic. I want to take an extra moment to say, how is this for you? What's it like for you? I grew up in a household that was a lot of manipulation, a lot of, God, the word is failing me now, where it's like this dark magician energy where I thought, I often felt like I was being manipulated, and I knew I was being manipulated, persuaded in a way that was not very clean. And I didn't love it. And so, I have some leftover energy of that. And I'm glad to know that about myself, I'm glad to be awake to that, because now I can practice choosing. And I can practice remembering, just because it happened before doesn't mean it's happening now. Waking yourself up is it's such a key practice, because we assume a lot and it's unconscious, much more than conscious. We're trying to keep ourselves safe in a very old way. And here's the thing. Let's not hold on to that as a truth we need to watch out for. In every moment, you are choosing again. Did you hear last week's episode? I was talking about choosing. The power of choice, the power of responsibility, and especially now in this climate of, the virus climate, the fear-based, all the fear energy out there. It's so important for us to stay grounded in our choosing. And what are you choosing? You are choosing to be here, to be of service, to be an anchor for love, to be kind, to serve. Don't choose to be taken advantage of. Don't choose to be defensive. Don't choose to be on the offense of people who are trying to manipulate you. Because that's like planning for it, which is like it's asking for it, which is like it's counting on it, Instead, just be here in the moment and practice. If you feel that energy coming, it's very easy to shut it down. You just stop talking. That's one way. Click out the screen. That's another way. You don't have to hold a plan in your heart about how to handle future peeps who are going to take advantage of you. Your kindness is not a permission slip. And you don't need to explain it to anyone. It's not anyone's job to understand. It's your job to understand, to know in your heart what's right for you, to hold the line and be kind, but no, it doesn't mean you said yes to 8,000 things that you are not going to do. Am I making any sense? But choosing to hold that energy in you is not good for you. That prepared to be attacked it's not really, you don't need to do it. I mean, I hear this all the time that you know how it is. If you're nice to somebody, then you ask them how they are, and then they want to tell you their whole life story. And who has time for that? Well, clearly you don't. So hold the line. Know in your heart what's right for you. Isn't it possible that you could still be kind, still be warm, say, hello, person? A name just totally failed me. Hello, person. How are you today? And they're like, oh, geez. Oh, God. We had a contractor like that once. This is going back years, but be like, hi, Don. How are you? Oh, God. The gout. The gout has got me again. Or, oh, geez, the weather. The weather is my knees. He always had something funny. But what a great opportunity to practice. You don't have to stand there for 500 minutes listening. So this is still not a good enough reason to not be kind. Yeah, maybe you'll have to learn how to deal with their disappointment. We have to learn how to do that, or their comments. But so what? It's still better to practice being yourself, being your genuine self, and dealing with whatever comes. So you're not here to bend over backwards at the expense of your own peace, but it doesn't hurt to be kind. It's a really good way to be. It's like constant good sorts of juju returning itself, renewing itself, refreshing itself inside of you all the time. And, maybe if we weren't so afraid about how to handle things, or so have such energy of assuming that people are going to take advantage of us, or it's going to cost us something or whatever, we would be a little freer with our love. You don't have to confuse warmth and empathy with being run over. I do believe sometimes the biggest kindness is the answer no. The biggest kindness is a boundary that brings gifts, helps people wake up. So that person in your office who keeps talking to you nonstop, or the person who's inappropriate in their questions, too many questions, it's a kindness that brings you to the line where you say no to somebody, or I don't feel we know one another well enough for me to answer that. No. So how is this for you? Does that resonate for you? Is there any internal story? If I am nice, if I am kind, if I am warm, if I am empathetic, will I be taken advantage of, taken for granted, assumed? It's easy to put something over on me. What comes up for you? I mean, that's just a great question to ask yourself internally. It's really a good policy and practice for you, for me, for all of us. When we notice ourselves holding back, when we notice ourselves tensing up because there's some interaction and we're tensing up, like these examples I was just giving you, how can you help yourself pull out of that response and question the one who is in the response? It's never as good to just be defending your thoughts, defending yourself against what you are assuming somebody is going to do to you or has done in the past. So you're assuming now. Question it. Because the thing is, it's all happening for your own growth and evolution. And each of us longs to be free. And isn't it true? There's always something we'd like more of for ourselves. So anywhere we can work on this edge of, I'm holding back my light, I'm squeezing back, I'm tense, you know what I'm saying? Anywhere we can work on this edge is good for us. And I'm laughing because I'm just having this memory of one of those ways I learned to deal with this myself, how to deal with, it's okay to be kind and have boundaries. It's okay to be kind, to be warm, to be friendly, to help people for a living, right? Without getting run over. So I'm just thinking back to the first year I was doing healing work, my first year in practice. I had somebody who kept showing up super early for her appointments, super early, and ringing the doorbell like 25 minutes early. And I realized that I was afraid to say no, afraid they would go away, afraid they would not want to work with me if I set a boundary. And I think that's how a lot of us start out. We just think it means I have to be nice, I have to spend all the time. If they want to talk to me on a Sunday, I'll talk to them. If they want to come a half an hour early, I have to accommodate them. If they won't stop talking, I have to stand there. This is where some of us just begin. And it's all good personal growth work. There's no need to be ashamed or embarrassed or mad at yourself. Just learn. We can learn where we're at. So this woman finally, has this ever happened to you? I finally snapped. I think this happened like 3 times. And the third time I knew, I could feel it had gone on too long and I was feeling resentful. And I knew it was because I hadn't handled this already that I set up a precedent. I mean, it's sort of like your face says one thing, your words say one thing, but your inner energy is saying something completely different. So it's about learning to go past your fear, learning to go past your assumptions. And like I was saying earlier, your projection of disaster forecasting of how this person is going to react. You got to go in to your heart and know in your heart that the point is not for you to become besties with everybody you know. The point is to be in integrity with your own heart, to remember who you truly are, to do what needs to be done. And yes, at the end of the day, so you did the right thing. You can stand with that. You can learn to hold the line and know that it's never about keeping the world happy. The point is about being true to yourself, being true to your highest self, to know who you truly are and act from there. So I opened the door this one day and I said, hello, our appointment isn't until whatever time it was. Could you come back then? And she started getting very upset, which was, looking back, a huge indicator of how I was not addressing this sooner, because I knew this was the tendency. You know how some people, they're going to overreact and become very messy. And this is often why we end up dancing with the lobster. Do you remember the episode on lobster dancing a few back? This is why we end up doing the cha-cha with a lobster the whole time, saying, please don't pinch me, please don't pinch me. Well, a lobster is what a lobster is. They're going to do what they're going to do. And again, I was not being clear because I was worried. I was afraid. There was something about it I just didn't want to face. So, the first time she came a half an hour early, I could have so easily said, you're a half an hour early. I could have just not answered the door. There were so many things I could have done, but I let her in. So, it's not just that somebody else, you know what I'm saying? I played a huge part in this, what happened. And at some point, that thing is coming, and it's not about you. So I said, wait, well, you could wait in the car. There's a Starbucks down the road. There's a park. Well, she left and never came back and sent me a letter later and said, you have a lot to learn about kindness. And it did not sting, but for a moment, because I got the cosmic humor there. Yes, I do have a lot to learn about kindness. I have a ton to learn, because kindness doesn't mean I'm going to lay down while you run me over with your tractor. That when you try and scooch under the rope, assuming you have some kind of VIP access that you don't, that I have to say yes, That when people want that little something extra and they're not thinking about the cost to you, they're not considering what that is, because they're just being themselves. They get a little messy. They handle things badly. They forget their common courtesy. They're not thinking about you. But that's no excuse, and you can't let people run you over, Your kindness is not a permission slip. You can just stop trying to explain it to them, because they're not the ones that need to get it. It's not their job. It's your job. So you can hold the line and know in your heart what's right for you. And would you rather be in your warm glow? Warm glow? Or kind of a closed down, crispy critter? And I'm sure there's a degree in there, in between there you can be. I'm just saying, I would rather be in my warm, happy glow and learn to bear the guilt that sometimes does come as I say no. Did that whole thing just rhyme? I think it did. Because I can feel guilty. And I used to say this to my own healer, and we would be working on these boundary things and how, it's hard to say no because people get mad at you, and then you feel guilty, and the guilt can last forever if you let it. But I used to say to her, it'd be easier to cut my own finger off right now than to say no to somebody. And I'm so happy, because today is such a different experience. Even if people do get mad at me, I know what's really happening there in many ways is somebody saying, please don't make me wake up to what I'm doing. And I'm honored to do that. I'm honored to do that, I guess. I would like to not have that interaction with you, but I would rather do that than lay down the red carpet and let you run me over, So that's really the message, And yeah, people will get mad. And those people who get mad, they're your biggest teachers. Ultimately, You come back around to the knowing that you are a kind person, open-hearted person, good-natured, fun, funny, sweet. And yeah, maybe that's been trampled on or taken advantage of or taken for granted. But that's in the past. And, we owe it to ourselves to wake up to, I can't let a story from a million years ago still limit me today. You want to walk around. Sometimes I tell people, go around like you're the mayor of Robintown or the mayor of Jennytown or the mayor of Jeffytown, feeling like you're the mayor of your own town in your heart. It's a very different experience than going around worrying that people are going to take advantage of you. Carrying those old stories of how you've been, what's happened to you. I don't need to keep giving examples, I'm sure. So, kindness, that's what we're on about. Love with bones, setting boundaries, and it keeps you in a place of awesome sauce in your heart. There is no unnecessary drama and chaos added to your day because you're not mixing it up with people, Just thinking back to the woman, my angel who came to teach me about boundaries way back when. What an awesome thing. And I think of her a lot still when somebody does still occasionally come and ring the doorbell at my house early for a session. Now I know. Now it's so easy. We just learn. We make our way. So, don't be embarrassed. If you have things like that too, don't go there. That's the ego's jam. And you are so much more than your ego, than the hubbub of your ego. So, wow, friend. I hope somewhere in there today this was amazing and helpful for you. And if it was, I have a couple courses online on my website, robinhallett.com/courses. There's a healing practitioner course and also a course called Light Worker Love, where I talk a lot about working and boundaries, and especially us soulful peeps, soulful peepers with intuitive, you know how it is, creative, beautiful edges. There's some great support there for you as well. So I vote we have some more tea, and let's talk about today's inspiration. The colder it gets, the better it tastes. I gotta say, I am starting to get very excited about spring over here and making iced tea, and wow, we're almost there. We're almost to spring. It's so exciting. I can hear some robins outside the window right now. But I digress. So, inspiration. You heard my introduction at the beginning, and I just want to say I'm re-picking up this episode on Sunday, the day before this airs. So I thought inspiration today, this is a time for lots of us, unprecedented time. And it's so important for us, I feel, to decide to be, not only to remember who we truly are and to take good care of ourselves, but to remember we are one community. We are one. To remember our oneness and to do the things that take good care of our oneness. So practicing kindness is super important. And being of service, deciding you're going to be of service to the best of your ability is another. And I also think taking care of your immunity would be something that is super important right now too. Yeah, oneness. Oneness, service, love, remembrance, and immunity, and precautions, all of that. So how can you serve? The other day we went to the grocery store and I said to the guy at our register, I was noticing it was kind of weird because the lines were the longest I've ever seen, but also people weren't making eye contact and they weren't bagging their groceries like they normally would. And it really struck me in a way, like we are dealing with, some fear, some not knowing what to do-ness. And so, service. Don't forget about important things like eye contact and talking to each other. Hello, how are you? Are you okay? Thanks for being here. I said to the cashier, thanks so much for being here. Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. And he said something like, boy, that's the nicest. He said, boy, you guys are really kind. That's probably the nicest thing anybody will say to me all day. Believe me, I could tell you some stories already. And, I get it, but it also, I felt sad in a way because we can do better and I know we will be doing better. I know as the days go on, we're going to gain our footing, we're going to gain our momentum and be of service and support and light and remembrance. So that's one. The other I wanted, and I should say, service for me, I have been deciding how I want to do this in my business, being a self-employed person doing healing sessions. And so I'm looking at that. I've decided to make the upcoming healing circle, which would normally be a paid event, a free event. So if you want to sign up for that now, you can just go to my website and click the link and you'll be registered for the next live circle in a week on Thursday. And if you're going to be home, what else are you going to be doing at 2 p.m. on a Thursday or overseas in the early evening? Come hang out with me. I've been putting out videos and messages, and I think, you just right now, it feels like if you're being impressed upon by spirit, by the creative essence of all that is, your intuition is guiding you to post something. This is not the time to second guess with worries about, what do you worry about when you want to post something? Will people like it? Will they think I'm dumb? Will they? Jeff and I posted one this morning, number one, husband and I said we should do these little videos every few days and just check in and send some love and do them on fast forward because people are always like, I'm so busy. I don't have time to listen. So just to keep it under like 2 minutes. And it's hilarious. It's hilarious. And I had no makeup on. I had bedhead. I had a double chin. As you know, looking down into your camera will definitely make it worse. And guess what? My pajama top was on inside out. I don't think you can tell though. But anyway, you just gotta share and don't worry about your stuff right now. Share and don't worry about your stuff. Your stories, if your mental stories, you know what I'm saying? If it's coming to you to share, then share. If you see something beautiful that you loved, somebody else wrote, then share that. Let's not just share the big people. There's one going around from Brene Brown right now. Obviously, Tom Hanks has a lot of followers now as he's on quarantine. Stuff like that is great. But if you read friends in your community's posts, share those because I think, let's have the average person, that's me and you, who are figuring out how we're going to get through this, how we're going to do this, what's going to happen next. Let's share those kinds of things so that we remember normal people, regular people, we are doing this. Okay. And then the last thing I'll say is immunity. It's wild. A lot of you who listen are around my age and a number one husband's age, so 51 and 63. But a lot of you who are listening are youngsters. You're in that younger demographic, and like our kids, 26, 29, 35, no, you're not at risk, probably. You're not at risk. And you can still be a carrier. You can be asymptomatic and still pass this thing on. And I think that's where remembering we are all one and practicing good hygiene, good, all the things we're supposed to be doing now, we need to be doing now, is really, really important. So you might think, what's the big deal? You might not get sick, but somebody else might, because you were saying, what's the big deal? And weren't taking the precautions. So even if you're out there serving, delivering groceries, delivering things, think about it. Take good care of you. A good dose of bravado, it can't happen to me, never protected anyone. And that's coming from somebody who practices lots of positive thinking and law of attraction. But bravado only really is just bravado sometimes. Coming up, we're going to have a letter from a friend who's asking about perspective on the spiritual perspective in times like this. So I'll talk a little bit more about that, but quickly I'll say it's better to help yourself. If your mind is bombarding you with thoughts about infection, protection, immunity, etc., it's better to take some action than just try and, air quotes here, ward off evil with your thinking. Okay, so just know that you're not failing your spiritual practice if you decide to wash your hands, for example, right? So along those lines, I've been sharing my own recipe for hand sanitizer. I love to make art, and I have a ton of isopropyl alcohol here because I always love doing things with that in my art. And so you can make your own hand sanitizer. You don't have to run to the store and buy Purell. Besides, I think that is so stinky. Just my opinion, of course. But I've been making Purell, my own version of hand sanitizer, in a mason jar, just tucking some clean cloths. You have old t-shirts that you're like never going to wear again or should never be wearing again because, come on, yeah. Cut those up. Cut those up into hand-sized wipes and start pushing them into a jar or a Tupperware or something, or a glass, lunchbox thing. Tuck those in, and then in another cup, make a solution. Rubbing alcohol, it needs to be above 60%, and a little dish soap. I use Dr. Bronner's. That's Castile soap from coconuts. I like the peppermint one a lot. They have a beautiful rose one as well, and a lavender one that's really nice. I noticed that just a little squirt helps make your hands soft. And a few drops of essential oil. If you want to add a little bit of water, if your solution is 90% alcohol or you're using high-grade alcohol, you can add a little bit of water, but I wouldn't mess around with that too much. And then I've been using clove essential oil and love it. My hands smell so amazing afterward. And then I also notice they're not dry and really cracked or anything like that. So, if you've got it around the house, use it. And yeah, the other thing is do things. You have green tea at home. A lot of us buy green tea and can't stand it and then never drink it. You could be drinking your green tea now and flavor it up. Add a few squeezes of orange juice or lemon juice. Add some stevia if you like that. Really good immune boost. Curry. Adding curry to your food, garlic, turmeric, things like that. Trust your gut on what's coming to you and do those things. And obviously, water. Drink your water. Half your body weight in ounces is what I always try and do. And I feel better when I do that. I notice it. So for whatever that's worth, as today's inspiration, it's probably the first time I've ever had an inspiration section like this. I hope this helps you. And yeah, we just keep rolling, don't we? So, today's letter, I reached out to our community this week. If you're not already part of the Love Posse, you can sign up for my newsletters. Join us over at robinhallett.com/subscribe. I reached out and asked how everybody's doing and offered an opportunity, just like, if I can help, write to me, and I will. If I can, I will. How are you? What's going on? And a few of those letters that came back were so good. I asked friends if I could keep those for upcoming podcasts. So this is that. And Erica, thank you so much for being willing to share. Hi, Robin. Loved that podcast. She's talking about episode 79, where I talk about the coronavirus, the beginning of it anyway. My question is, how can we be safe but also uphold our beliefs? I hold beliefs like I create my own reality, and what we focus on expands. It seems like buying into the virus, which I can acknowledge is happening, is inviting it in. If I acknowledge that the virus is happening, I am inviting it in. How can I be prepared if everything is closing out there in the world, but still allow my belief system to stand? I appreciate any advice. Love, Erica. Thanks again so much, Erica. This is that time we have been practicing for. The reason we come to the studies, the practices, the meditations, the yoga, the healing, the books we read, the videos we watch, the practices we do, seems to be that we want to get through, get healed from some things in our past, or we notice a current struggle and, we want to work on it. But truly, this is what we practice for. The next big edge that's happening out in the world and in our own hearts. And this would be that. This is the next big edge. So let's acknowledge that. This is the next edge. And this is what I practice for. This is the time to not double down on your practice, not put your head in a book and keep studying and memorizing. This is the time to be reminding yourself that you have received knowledge from a source greater than yourself. And that knowledge is with you and in you. It's time to tune to that and trust. And that's where knowing that you're creating your reality and what you focus on expands really shines. As you remember, I am spirit in a body. I am powerful beyond measure. I am connected to the all that is. And I am one with you, my brother, my sister, my neighbor, my friend, my partner, my family, my child. We're one. We're one. That energy of kindness, that energy of love comes back and nourishes us as well. Energetically, psychically, mentally, the nervous system is being gently helped too. So you say, it seems like buying into the virus, which I can acknowledge is happening, would be inviting it in. It's really interesting, isn't it? There's an edge in our law of attraction movement, let's say, where people actually do think that as long as they don't believe in something, it can't hurt them. But what about the resistance we're building in? I was talking about this last week. If you keep naming something like, people are talking about a virus, but I don't believe it's real, it's not really helping you. There's a virus, but it doesn't matter what you say after that. What would really help you is to roll with the times. It's kind of like saying it's winter and I'll wear a coat. I'm tired and I'll go to bed. I'll honor, nobody needs to resist what's going on with magical thinking. We can roll with the times. Buying into the fear of the virus definitely would be inviting the fear in, but we can't really answer fear with fear. We have to answer with love. So it's so much more important to be a loving witness to yourself, to honor how you're truly feeling, and instead of rejecting how you're feeling and trying to do some form of a practice or plug your ears. For some reason, I keep thinking of the scene. Any Lord of the Rings fans out there? The scene where Gollum is having a conversation with his former self, and he's plugging the good in him is trying to plug its ears and shut out the bad, the stressy, and he just keeps saying, not listening, la 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 la, not listening. We can do that to a point. But if we notice the fear, if we notice the tension, it's so much better to work with it. So if you're working with it, you're not infecting yourself, you're not jinxing yourself, you're not multiplying the energy. You're answering fear with love. And that's really the only healer there can be. That's the only way this is going to work. So answer your fear with love. Be that loving witness. If it's difficult for you, I am sure you have people in your life you love and care about. Think about them and how they're feeling. Practice that way. And let yourself be prepared. We went to the store the other day. Part of me was, I do like observing how my mind works in times like this, and my ego mind and just my stressy thoughts. It's kind of an interesting practice to stay aware of that and know I'm not 100% in there with the thinking. So part of me was like, I don't really want to go out and be in the panic. And then I was like, I don't really want to go out and buy up all the supplies that other people might need. It's just a weird time. But then you're like, I got to go out and take care of me too. I matter too. And I have to provide for my family too. So you just kind of make your way, but you're remembering at the same time, all is well. You practice. That's it. You practice being a loving witness. You practice serving. You text or email a neighbor if you're going to the store and say, do you need anything? Let me know. You guys can be dropping things off on each other's doorstep. And if you need to send money, you can do that over PayPal or Venmo, I love. There's a way we're going to make this work out. It's going to be all right. And we emerge more connected, shifted. This will be one of the best blessings in the weird way that world events like this often end up being. I'm thinking of so many examples right now. So we're going to trust in this time and be a beacon of light and show up and share and do all the things. And between me and you, I'm going to just say this. I have felt a little annoyance at my spiritual community friends here and there, because sometimes those kinds of posts are not helpful. The ones that just preach the love gospel, the God gospel, and don't account for the fear and don't account for bridging the gap, I personally find it annoying. I find it not great teaching too. So I don't want to be somebody who's telling you plug your ears and say la 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 to your ego voice like Gollum. No, I'm not. I don't want to be one who does that. So for whatever that's worth, I hope it's helpful. And friends, I feel during this time, I'm going to be talking about this a lot. I care about it. I care about helping us get through this. And there's probably going to be new areas that you and I are figuring out. How do we do this? How do we make it work now? So stick with me. I'm over. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube. It's just Robin Hallett, not just ever, but you know what I'm saying. And if you have questions during this time, please email me, hello@robinhallett.com. Well, friends, that wraps a beautiful episode. I hope there has been love and support in here for you, and I am thinking about you. I'm thinking about us all now. I love our community so much. I love seeing what you're doing, how we're rising to this time, and it's beautiful. So hang in there. I'm hugging you tight, virtual hugging you tight, and sending so much love. And I'm going to see you here next week or in a few minutes. It's me, Robin. Bye-bye. Bye. Life is very short, let's make the very most of it. You are a precious gem and I love you. Do 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 do. We are here to shine and shine bright. You are a gem and I love you. Do 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 do. Life is precious and you are a spark of the divine. So shine like you know it, rock it like you mean it, 'cause you really, really mean it, and mean it, and mean it, and mean it, and mean it. Don't let crispy people tell you that you aren't sparkly, 'cause you are, 'cause you are, 'cause you are. Thank you. I like that. I love it, honey. Thank you. Give me a kiss. Thanks.